Welcome to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm John. We're a couple of overweight barbecue enthusiasts trying to share our love for sweet and smoky food with the world.
Thanks for hanging out with us as we talk about life, share recipes, successes, and failures that have all led to our love of cooking outdoors.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm John, here with the one and only Mr. Mike Bohm.
Jazz hands, except for I'm holding my phone. So
Hey, take it. Like a tambourine.
there you go.
How you doing, Mike?
Dude, I'm good. I love my life, but it's crazy busy right now.
The phrase "a day late"
Yeah.
and $1 short has never resonated more with me than this week.
So true, man. So true. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. It's kind of my bad that we're coming in a little late. I kind of found myself with a son that's now playing competitive basketball that we didn't really plan on, but he loves it. So, and then it was my wife's birthday, and
Hey, we're not making Mama Bohm mad.
Yep. I mean, she would have been.
She's gonna hate.
She would
that I
have
just
been
called her
very
Mama
nice,
Bohm.
but no, I think I like it, and I'm gonna stick with it. So, I will call her that.
I'm pretty sure I've called your mom that too. So that
Yeah, that's true. And I call your mom Mama Hayden, so maybe that's not good.
it's all right. Comes with age, Whitney.
There you go.
We'll
Not
see.
a day over 19.
I don't have to worry about getting angry texts. We know she doesn't listen.
That's true. Just kidding, babe. Thank you for your support.
I know. What? I mean, for our fellow fat guys out there who may or may not forget a birthday, any birthday tips? What'd you do?
Well,
Share the ideas. I feel like as men we have an obligation to share birthday ideas.
it's tough. Like, I feel like a lot of times the expectations are so high that there's no way we can live up to them. But my wife's not like that. She is so good, and she's busy too. I was going to take the day off on her birthday, and sometimes I'll take the day off and we'll go to lunch or whatever. And she picked up a subbing job. So she was like, I'll just work on my birthday. I was like, oh, okay, me too. So
Dude.
we hung out. I mean, for the last 2 months, all I've heard is, I bought me this for my birthday. I bought me this for my birthday. I bought me this for my birthday. So don't get me anything. Don't get me anything. And I'm like, this is a trap.
That feels like a trap.
I have played this game before. No, but she's good. So I mean, it was very low key, and we actually kind of celebrated last weekend. Her sister took the kids, so we went out and made a night of it, and it was a good time. But birthday-wise, it's just not as fun when you grow up. I feel like birthdays are so lame.
Birthdays are the worst. All they mean is like another doctor's visit, being probed uncomfortably, and like your life insurance rates are going to go up.
Yeah.
That's what being old, like, birthdays mean to me now.
Yeah, dude. For sure.
So, well, good.
Yeah. That was good, though.
So the moral of the lesson for our listeners is don't fall for the trap.
Nope.
Make sure you get her something.
Indeed. And chocolate is never the wrong answer as well.
Chocolate is great.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah, so dropping a day late, but it is worth the wait. I'm actually pretty excited about tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I hope we do it justice.
I hope we do too, but everybody has listened to us whine and complain and beg for attention on Instagram. Mm-hmm. We got some.
Just pay attention to us.
And we will pay attention to you. So this one, our shout out today goes to Alex Kramer. I think it's Alex Kramer 18 is his profile. Yep. Mm-hmm. Alex Kramer 18. But Alex reached out to us. He's a fellow fat guy in Ohio.
Ohio State.
No, I'm just glad you didn't say IO, because then our friendship would have come to an end.
Okay.
That's what Ohio State Buckeyes do.
Oh, yeah.
It's like if
Not a huge fan.
I'm definitely not a big fan, but I work with several people, and true to form, you can be in the airport and see him and yell OH, and they will yell IO.
I don't know if I like that. That's cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, Alex is from Ohio. Found us through the algorithms somehow. Thank you for finding us, Alex.
It's kind of a miracle, but I'm glad we got hooked
It's
up.
meant to be.
Yep.
But Alex loves to cook and smoke. He's got a couple of different cookers. He's got 2 pit bosses, and a vertical pit boss, which
A vertical pit boss pellet smoker.
yeah, there are a couple of
seen
verticals
those,
out there that I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah.
And of course, a Weber kettle and a Blackstone, and he just got an offset.
Hey-o.
So boy is doing well.
Yes. I love it.
But he was hoping that we would get into the tips and tricks of cooking a perfect pellet grill steak from start to finish.
I like it.
So today, in addition to that, we're talking all things steak.
All things steak.
And we're, well, you could have steaks of any variety. We're going true classic here with beef steaks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a preferred cut?
It's hard for me to like anything more than the ribeye. I love ribeye, dude. I've had, and I mean, I'll be honest, the decent sirloin is fine. Like, I have no hate for any cut of steak, but I just remember I was on my mission. Some guy from Texas took us out to Texas Roadhouse for dinner. And I was like, I was just going to get a burger. And he was like, no, get a ribeye. I was like, I've never had a ribeye. What's a ribeye? And it changed my life and affected my children. So.
And that was a Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Texas Roadhouse does a decent steak.
They do. And I mean, it was fine.
It's
but,
just so freaking loud in there.
Yeah, it is.
But I love a ribeye.
Yeah. Ribeye's got to be my favorite. I mean, the tomahawk ribeye is like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. So.
Yeah, there's and I'm going to blank on the name of it. I'll see if I can remember, or look it up while you're talking next. Yeah. But there was a spot in Houston that we went to dinner on a business trip, and it was like $128 ribeye, like big tomahawk, like shared it on the table, and you know, bones like this big. Yeah. Beautiful cuts of meat. But yeah, I'm a big ribeye fan. I've been starting to get back into fillets, though.
See, I haven't had a lot of fillets. They're in my mind, they're expensive for a small piece of meat, and so in my mind, I'm like, that's not worth it. But somebody that I was with once said, my buddy Bracken, was like, dude, fillet is so rich that you really don't need more than, I don't remember what he got, 8 ounce or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's definitely a rich flavor. And it's just so freaking tender. Like it can be a really tender. If you overcook it, it's like chewing on leather. But really lean cut of meat, and that's funny because they're like both completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Like ribeye is one of the fattiest, and then you've got the fillet that's all the way at the other end of the spectrum.
I was just thinking,
no fat in it.
For a background, we need like a cow with all the different cuts on it.
I know.
And where they come from, because I was just thinking, where does the fillet come from?
From the tenderloin.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
I've cut that out of a deer before. That makes sense. Okay.
No.
Delicious.
Yep. So it's the tenderloin. Let's just cut into a steak.
Okay. And the ribeye comes from the ribs.
Yep. Right off the ribs.
That's fair.
I know. I finally got around to pulling the wood out so that I could cut the cleat. We're almost to having our backdrop done.
Dude, I said that I would
later.
come help you, and I have done nothing. So
no.
Keep me posted
Yep.
on what you need from me.
There's that. And then we've talked a lot about it, but man, picanha. I did picanhas and steaks the other day, and money.
Interesting. So
I just didn't mess with the skewer and like curving it into a C and everything.
So did you cut them pretty thin? Like how thick are we talking?
No, like I cut them into strips just like I would put them onto a skewer.
Okay.
I just didn't
did straight up steak.
I took more of the fat off than I normally did.
Okay.
And cut it like a steak. So
how was it?
delicious.
Compare it like ribeye-ish or less? It's pretty fatty, isn't it? Like there's a huge fat cap on it at least.
Yeah, and I cut the fat cap off. I would say texture-wise, it's more towards like a sirloin than a ribeye.
Okay.
But it was really rich in the beef flavor, like kind of like a filet.
Nice.
So
okay,
a little bit of everything in there. Mm-hmm.
This microphone's too close to my stomach. We're talking too much about steak. My belly's like, dude, you had hamburger gravy for dinner. Knock it off.
I just don't think it'll come through on the recording. We should have like...
It sounded like a moose call on Meat Eater. Golly. Sorry, everybody.
For anyone that missed that, Mike's stomach just said, where's the beef?
Stop talking about steak. One thing I was thinking, and we're going to get in, I think, to like the preparation and especially how these high-end steakhouses, kind of their preparation and stuff. But one thing I was thinking, I remember I went to somebody's house to eat. I guess I was on my mission too. I did a lot of stuff on my mission, but I had a guy from Texas that was there with us, just another missionary, and his companion was asking for steak sauce, and so the homeowner went to get him one. He's like, dude, you don't ever ask for steak sauce because some of these people have been marinating or dry rubbing or whatever for all day, and steak sauce just completely undoes it, which I thought was so interesting.
Yeah, you might as well ask for ketchup.
Yeah, seriously. And when as a kid, we ate charred steak with ketchup. That's just what we ate. But yeah. So anyway, but yeah, let's talk about where do you want to start? I mean, we've kind of hit some cuts, but preparation or
that's the thing. There are so many different places we could go with this.
Well, and I feel like everybody has their own way that they love, you know? So
yeah,
I'm sure some of the people, and hit us up, please, via, Instagram Messenger or on the YouTube comments or whatever, how you do it and different things that you do, so we can kind of share those maybe next time and kind of get the community going. But yeah.
So and really the trick to a good steak is all about temperature control. Mm-hmm. Everybody likes it different. Like, I think a steak should be cooked medium rare, maybe to medium if someone's like really grossed out by the pink. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not blood. You're fine.
Right.
Relax. But it's like, I think the first thing I would say, if you want to cook a really good steak, is one, buy the best steak you can. Mm-hmm. Quality matters. And then make sure you've got a thermometer. And I know, like, I can already, somebody's out there like, you don't need a thermometer to, like, just use your hand, like, pinch your fingers and poke, like, yeah, you can do that.
For sure.
But if I'm going to buy a $30 or $40 steak, I'm going to use my thermometer. I'm not going to trust my finger.
Especially if I haven't been cooking steak for 50 years and know exactly what I'm, I don't know. So
I think quality matters. Use a thermometer. Slow and steady is the trick there. And then, man, get crazy with the flavors. Try a bunch of different things. Find out what you like. Adam's Garlic Junkie is maybe one of the best steak rubs in the history.
So good, dude. So good. I mix it with butter and make a little compound butter to drizzle on after. Oh my gosh, it's good.
Yeah, but then you get into, okay, how are we going to cook it? Mm-hmm. And you can do steak a lot of ways. You can do it in a pan. You can pan sear it. You can broil it. Not my favorite way, but you can do it.
Yeah, sure. If all you have is an oven.
Obviously, you can grill it. You can cook it on a smoker, and we'll talk about this, but I think it's really hard to finish a steak well on a pellet smoker.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I agree.
We'll get into that. Or one that, I don't know we've ever talked about this before on the podcast, but sous vide.
I thought that's what you were going to say. I've heard some amazing things about sous vide.
Yeah, so sous vide uses an immersion cooker or a sous vide machine. You can find them on Amazon. There's lots of different options, but I mean, this is how a lot of the big restaurants do it too. You take your steak and you put it in a vacuum-packed bag, and then you put it in a bucket of water that's got this cooker in it. And they're very precise on the water temperature. So you can take a steak exactly to 125 degrees, leave it in there for 4 hours. You can take as long as you want to get it up to that temperature, and then just hold it there.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole steak, like, you don't have to worry about hot sides and stuff because it's fully immersed. The whole steak goes to that temperature.
Yep. And the longer it stays there, the more time it has to break down and get tender and soft. So it's a great way. And like a lot of the big steakhouses, they've got big sous vides in the kitchen. And hey, we've got a ribeye, medium rare. Like, they're not cooking that steak to medium rare, watching it. And some of them do, but a lot of them are, okay, let's go grab one out of
pull it right out and
the sous vide. And then they sear them off at incredibly high temperatures. I was looking at it, 5-star steak restaurants. My favorite restaurant in the entire world is Gibson's in Chicago. But other names, Ruth's Chris, Morton's, Spencer's Chop House, some of the really expensive names that you only go to maybe once a year.
I was going to say Sizzler, Golden Corral, Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, but they then take those steaks. So if they want a medium rare is like 130, 135, somewhere in there. They'll take a steak that's 120 degrees out of the sous vide, finish seasoning it, and then they'll stick it in a broiler or on a grill that's 1,000, 1,500 degrees, and sear it off for 30 seconds, 45 seconds. It finish cooking it
to the temperature
they want it, and then it also sears it.
Yeah.
And searing it is really important, and that's why I kind of diss on the pellet grill.
It's hard to do on a pellet grill, get a good sear.
It's just hard to get it hot enough to get a really good sear. And you want that sear for a couple of reasons, but the big one is just flavored. Do you know what the name of the sear is? The black crispies that are delicious on a piece of meat? It's called the Maillard effect.
Maillard effect?
Or Maillard reaction.
That. Okay.
Yeah. That's what happens when you get those like carbon crystals on it that are just delicious. So
I like it.
I learned that from Meathead.
Oh, Maillard. Who's Maillard, and how does he get his name on something so delicious?
I don't know why I brought that up when I knew you'd ask me something like that.
My bad. My bad.
I don't know, some scientist guy that burnt his meat and
was like, hey, that tastes good. Name it after me.
And was like, I spent $40 on this here steak. I'm not letting a little black stuff. Ooh, that's kind of good.
I love it.
But yeah, you want that sear in that crust because it's flavor.
Yeah.
So, and it's just really hard. So, to Alex's question, how would you do this start to finish on a pellet grill? Similar to the sous vide, like I'd season my steak up. I would put a my meter thermometer in it. I'd put it out on the pellet grill.
Mm-hmm.
I'd run my pellet grill probably at like 180 or 225, depending on how much time I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd bring it up to 120.
Slowly?
Yep. And I've done it a bunch. 1.5 to 2 inch ribeye. That's probably going to take you, if you do it at 180, it's probably going to take you like an hour and a half. 225 is probably going to be closer to 2 hours or to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pull that off and I'm going to drop it into a pan that's sitting on top of a charcoal chimney.
Yeah, that's crazy hot.
Yeah. And I'm going to put some butter in that pan just so there's a little bit of fat, a little bit of lubrication. And I'm going to just sear the crap out of all the sides on that for, anywhere from 45 seconds to a minute on each side.
Mm-hmm.
Check my temperature if it needs to come up a little more. I'm going to pull it when it hits about 130. And then I'm going to set it on a cutting board and cover it with a piece of foil and let it rest for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to finish cooking. It's going to finish off at about 135. And then I'm going to slice that thing and just deal with the pain that my mouth has when it waters that hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, that Alex, that's how I would do it.
And that's called the reverse sear, right?
That is a reverse sear. And the pan on the charcoal chimney, obviously, if you're doing a pan like that, make sure it's a cast iron pan, something that can really handle the heat.
Mm-hmm.
That's called the afterburner method.
I love it.
So,
I have seen people do it on, like, seared off on a pellet grill. However, they ended up like taking it off, letting it rest, and then cranking the pellet grill up high and using grill grates on the pellet grill.
yeah.
So those kind of concentrate the heat a little bit. That's the only way I've ever seen somebody finish it in there. I haven't tried it because I like putting a little butter in my cast iron pan and finishing it that way.
Yeah.
But
So, I've seen grill grates. Green Mountain Grills and Camp Chef both have a function where you can essentially pull the heat diverter out of the way and get like just a straight flame up to the up to the cooking area on the pellet smoker. That I'm sure would work.
How much? I mean, are we talking like we disassemble, get everything ready,
No,
or is it like a button you push?
It's on the side. There's a knob and you pull it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad then.
Yeah, and different gears and versions have different things. Like Green Mountain Grills, they have like a dual layer heat plate, and you pull it to the side, and like there's just some holes that let the heat come straight through.
Okay.
Camp Chef, I think you can pull the heat diverter all the way out, so like it is a straight flame up. I've never used it before. I just don't know how well it would work. Yeah, if I'm being honest. And I also think it would make a huge mess in the bottom of my grill.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, we've talked about what happens if my pellet grill gets too hot and I haven't cleaned it out or whatever. I would imagine this would be an issue, but maybe not. Maybe they've got some way around it. I don't know. Yeah,
and you don't have, like, you can do, if you've got a gas grill, if you've got a Blackstone, you could sear it off on all of those things too. So just get it almost to temperature, then pull it off and sear it on something else. Yeah. Because I don't think you're going to get your pellet grill effectively hot enough, long enough.
Yeah. I mean, and I'd be happy to be proven wrong there, but I think it'd be hard.
I know Traeger has come out and been like, their new, when they came out with the D2 controller, they're like, you can do all of these things. You can cook burgers. You can do this. It'll go to 500 degrees. And it will go to 500 degrees. It's not meant to. Yeah. Like, it's different tools for different jobs.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
Like, can I use a sledgehammer to, put a nail into a wall? I can. but that's not really what it's intended to do, and it's kind of hard and clunky, and I'm probably going to smash the crap out of my finger.
Yeah. It's like a DVD VCR that has a grilled cheese maker on the side. I don't know. These things just come to me. Patent pending.
It's like trying to watch a laser disc on a VHS player.
Ew.
And now that we've alienated any of the young kids that watch this.
Well, they need to be put in their place.
I ran into one of our mutual friends with their kid at Macy's the other night. And he knows who I am. Like, I'm not a stranger or anything. But he goes, "You're the guy from the podcast."
Aw. I've had a couple students be like, my dad listens to your podcast. And I'm like, honored, but I'm just like, oh, that's nice. Let's get back to math. But
dude, you need to take some stickers to school. You need to take some stickers to school. Send that crap home.
That's true. I still have some. I should.
If you don't, I
Certainly
do.
Should.
And I want to order new ones, but Haley won't let me till we get rid of the old ones.
That's probably smart. What would we do without our wives?
I'd have some really cool toys.
John, are you a marinator?
I have been. I am more about the dry rub than a wet.
That's where I'm at now. It took me a while to get there. It was a journey. Like, I used to marinate everything. Just throw, and you can do all kinds of fun stuff with a marinade.
With the W sauce?
Yeah. Do all kinds of, and it's great. It tastes great. But I would use the same marinade. It's just a homemade marinade I came up with. I would use the same thing for steak and chicken. And I was realizing how similar they taste. I was like, I don't know if you should do that. And I had a steak once that I didn't marinate, and I was like, the beef is the star.
Yeah.
And I feel like the marinade, while delicious, is totally covering up how good this beef is.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're trying to make.
Yeah.
Like teriyaki beef.
Sure.
Marinate the crap out of that thing. Like, you want to taste the teriyaki. That's why you're there.
Yeah. I personally marinate the crap out of like deer steaks, elk steaks, because I don't love the taste of wild game.
Well,
but if it's marinated,
and especially the deer,
actually really good.
The deer around here are so gamey.
Yeah, yeah.
Antelope is, I really struggled with my antelope.
Did you? I'll have to ask you about that because I haven't had that before.
It was super, super gamey.
Yeah.
I mean, all they do is eat sagebrush all
right.
day. So
and that's kind of how my deer tasted as well. So
I support the marinade, but yeah. Man, Worcestershire sauce and Italian dressing, a little bit of oil and Sprite, man.
I was on a balsamic vinegar kick for a while, and I kind of liked that.
I like that.
Yeah, a nice little tang to it.
Yeah. But no, sometimes I'll use a binder. Most of the time I won't.
Me too.
Because if you season it and let it sit for a few minutes, especially if there's some good salt in there, the meat will sweat itself and hold on to it pretty good. So I tend to use just dry rubs.
Yeah. I keep it pretty simple, too. I don't get too crazy with the dry rubs. I like just a simple... I mean, I think if you put salt and pepper on there, it'd be delicious. I usually use a light dusting of like holy cow and then just some salt and pepper, some herbs if I'm feeling it. But
yeah, get a little garlic in there, maybe a little chili powder.
Yeah.
Have you done much with dry aging or had much dry aged beef?
I haven't. It freaks me out, but I've heard really good things.
It freaks me out a little bit too. Like, I'm not sure I'm brave enough to do it at home. Like, that just seems like a great way to get sick.
Yeah, to die.
But I've had dry aged steaks at like really nice restaurants and been like I'm paying $100 for it. Like, if I die, like, at least I know my family can sue them.
Right.
Like, so.
Sure. Do you notice a difference? Like, can you tell, oh, this has been dry aged?
Incredibly, yes.
Really?
Like, we talked a little bit about going from like a ribeye to a fillet and like the concentration of that beef flavor. Like, on steroids.
Really? I've never had it. I've watched a lot of videos and been like, maybe I should try this, but I don't know. It just makes me nervous.
Well, it's like very much a science, and like I worry about controlling the humidity, and especially like my kids are in and out of the fridge in the garage all the time, and what if it gets left open? I don't want to have a whole rib roast go bad.
Something that expensive, yeah, for sure.
But that's man, if somebody's into that, like reach out to us. I would love to talk more about that.
Yeah, and just kind of understand the process, and if you do it at home, and if it's worth it, for sure.
Yeah, it's great, but it's kind of like it's creepy watching them like pull this like black nasty.
Yeah, it just looks moldy and whoa. But then they cut it, and it looks really good inside.
Yeah,
but,
it looks. I mean, it's like cheese, right? Like
yeah,
cheese gets moldy and nasty, and we cut that off, and
yeah, and it's fine. But I don't know.
Or we take the blue crumbles and put it on a salad, and we're like, ooh,
yeah, that's
blue
true.
cheese.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about dry aging, and I haven't had one that's dry aged. I've seen some videos, but I don't know. What else were we going to talk about, John? Anything we missed?
I'm kind of looking through my notes.
Steak tartare. You ever had that?
Big fan.
Really? Mm-hmm. That freaks me out.
It's good.
No cooking at all. Just thin slices, almost like sushi steak.
No, so I think you're thinking of carpaccio. So carpaccio is like really thin, like paper thin slices, and that's delicious too.
Still uncooked.
Uncooked.
Okay.
Steak tartare is like more like a really fine dice and chop on it.
Oh.
It's a little bit of a weird texture,
Uh-huh.
but it's really good. It's like that straight beef flavor. But I was going to talk a little bit about beef grades.
Okay.
Because I think that's a good thing for people to understand and know. You go to the grocery store and there's all these different stickers and things all over it.
Yeah.
The only thing that really truly matters is the USDA grading. And there is choice, select, and prime. And let me make sure I said those in the right order.
I think so.
I did not.
Oh, select is first, isn't it?
Select is the lowest quality.
Then choice and prime.
Yep. And prime typically gets bought up by most of the restaurants, but it's like the top 2% of beef.
Oh, really?
In the U.S.
Okay.
So it's nice. It's not hard to miss because it's super expensive.
Yeah.
We're talking like $25 a pound on ribeyes, but it's really good, and the grading has to do with the fat content.
Yeah,
and
marbling.
And the marbling in the meat. So prime is typically the most tender. It's got good marbling. It's good flavor.
Yeah.
Things that can get confused with grading are like certified Angus beef, which is Angus beef. It's a breed of cow.
Yeah. Just different type.
Yeah, it's like golden retrievers and labs. Like they're both dogs, but this one is or probably for our German short hair folks.
Yeah.
And now I can't remember what it is. Spencer has one.
Poodle pointer?
No, there's a specific like heritage line of German short hairs. He'll text me and tell me, and I'll feel stupid for not being able to remember. But like this one breed, like they have their own like registration group and like breed, and like it's a very specific line of German short hairs.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
that has nothing to do with the quality of the cut. No. Everything to do with what type of cow it came from.
Yep. Yeah. Same thing with Kobe beef.
Yeah. And that's not something you can't buy a steak and turn it into Kobe steak. Like,
nope.
It's the type of cow. And,
yep. Same thing with Wagyu. Yeah, Wagyu may not be a breed. I think that's like the way that they're raised, and like it's a style of raising cattle.
Oh.
So has to do with what you feed them.
Okay.
So pay attention to that. If you can, choice is not hard to find.
No,
Like,
and it's great.
yeah. And for some things, like I prefer a choice brisket over a prime brisket.
Why is that? I feel like we've talked about this before, but
I don't think there's enough intermuscular fat in a prime brisket. So I think it dries out.
okay. I like it.
Add at me, people. I'm feeling lonely.
I've never tried to cook a prime brisket. I've done some choice and some select, but never tried a prime. Yeah.
I know. I think we've covered all the important things.
Compound butter.
Yeah.
You ever use it?
I have. I'm really bad at planning.
Me too. That's my problem.
Like,
I get to the end and I'm like, oh, that would have been good.
Like a big meal I can plan the crap out of, and like we should talk about Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll do that next week.
Oh, yeah, we better.
Because it's time to start planning and practicing and thinking about Thanksgiving. Man, I can do a big meal and like cater an event and think through it. Typically, if I'm cooking for myself, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have steak, and I'm going to make a steak, and I'm going to spend all my time like making sure my steak's just great. And then I'm going to be like, man, a potato would be really good to go with this.
Yeah. Oh, well, turns out I don't have any side dishes.
Let me throw this in. Let me throw this in the microwave. Or oh yeah, compound butter. We should do compound butter while we sear this. All my butters is in the fridge.
In the fridge, and it's rock hard, and yeah.
So those are. I would love to do more with it. I think you can do a lot of things with butter. That's one of the methods we didn't really talk about, is like when you pan sear a steak, you can melt a bunch of butter in there and put some herbs in there and then baste the steak with the butter.
I've done that before with tomahawk. It's bomb.
That's a great way to like get more flavor on your steak.
I've seen people like boil it in butter, which just seems like so much butter, but I'm sure it's delicious.
Yeah, that's a lot of butter.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay.
I think we hit it, Alex. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Alex.
Hit us up if you've got any questions, and we'll talk about your question next time.
Indeed.
So until next time, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we're Fat Guys with Smokers. Thanks for listening to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't forget to tune in for even more nonsense from a couple of Fat Guys with Smokers.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.